Well, hello, everyone. Hello. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. We say happy Hanukkah to those celebrating Hanukkah all over the country and the world. We have some major breaking news. But first, breaking news that just happened, the United States House just passed the Kayla Hamilton Act, which bans gangbangers who entered the country illegally as unaccompanied alien children from being released into our communities. This is huge, guys. The fact that Democrats voted against this is disgusting. But of course, because we have a Republican House of Representatives, this fully passed and it will be put into law very soon. But this is very, very important breaking news. And we have other breaking news. Let's put up the first slide. So President Donald Trump, he retruthed today and put it on his Twitter account. My fellow Americans, I will be giving an address to the nation tomorrow night, live from the White House at 9 p.m. Eastern. I look forward to, quote, seeing you then. It has been a great year for our country, and the best is yet to come. President Donald J. Trump. Now, I've been hearing from sources and other media people of my friends in the White House pool that it is going to be a major, major policy announcement that the president will be bringing up to the nation tomorrow night. But we all don't speak for the president. We don't know exactly what he's going to say. But I know that one of the things on the criteria is to talk about a huge, major policy update. So please, guys, join us live after the Pulse. Tomorrow night, we will be live streaming it tomorrow night at 9 p.m. on America's Pulse Network, on all of our networks, on all of our channels. And please, guys, it will be very exciting to hear what the president has to say. And then other breaking news as well. Let's put up the next slide. So this is really important. This just happened tonight. The United States imposed a, quote, comprehensive travel ban on Palestinians. This is a good thing. As you know, Joe Biden brought in illegal Syrian, illegal Lebanese, illegal Afghan refugees into our country, which caused a lot of terror and a lot of havoc. As you know, we had a huge terrorist attack that happened at Brown University. There's Republicans that were targeted. A young girl was killed. A young 10-year-old boy was killed. And many others on that university campus. 19-year-old girl, she was the head of the college Republicans. And what reports are coming out, and there has been tremendous videos on this shooter. But for some reason, nobody can find him. Nobody can find him. Nobody can find the person that killed innocent people at Brown University. Lunatic bolts into a classroom, opens fire, blurts Allahu Akbar, hashtag Free Palestine, which the police will fail to say and admit. But we all know it. We all heard it. It was reported. He said Allahu Akbar, hashtag Free Palestine. They said there's no clear images of the guy, which is not true. And local authorities and the FBI still have no leads, no clues. Now, I know that Kash Patel is working really hard on this with Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi as well. But what about law enforcement in Rhode Island? What about the senators, the congressmen, the governor of Rhode Island? What did the governor of Rhode Island do? The governor of Rhode Island said more gun control. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This was an illegal terrorist that came onto the campus at Brown University. They don't want to call it for what it is, but I will. And this has been going on under the Biden administration and under the Obama administration. The fact that it's happening under the Trump administration is disgusting. The fact that these idiots think that they can do this and get away with it under the Trump administration is even more disgusting. That's why it's very important that we have 24/7 security, law enforcement at events nationwide, at Jewish events, Hanukkah events. A lot of people decided not to go to Hanukkah events the second night of Hanukkah or the third night. because there's no proper security at these events. There's no proper security at synagogues and churches. It's a real problem, guys. But Jews have been heavily targeted. We can't have one decent holiday without havoc, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But they need to find the Brown University shooter. There's clear images of him, clear video of him. I know Kash Patel, he just released some footage of the shooter. They need to find him. Enough is enough. It's been too long. And we know that he was not a person who loved this country. We know that he was a person who wanted to cause havoc on innocent lives that day. Now we go to segment 1, which is another breaking story. Our hearts go out to Rob Reiner and his wife, who were murdered by their son just a couple nights ago, first night of Hanukkah. They actually had an argument with their son the night before at Conan O'Brien's house. Michelle Obama goes on Jimmy Kimmel last night and revealed that she and her husband were supposed to meet Rob Reiner and his wife that night for dinner, the night that he was murdered. Speculation as to why their son would do this. Why? Why would any child do this? What was up with his son? Rob Reiner was a big director, well-known actor. He had many more years to live. But as we've heard from reports, tensions arose in that household between Nick, his mother, and father. Now, his son, Nick, has suffered drug addiction from the age of 15 to 19. His father put him in and out of rehab, did everything he could to keep his son clean. Every time his son gets out of rehab, he's causing havoc again. Also, there was reports that his son remained homeless for a long time because he couldn't figure out how to get a job, couldn't figure out how to make money, and he was asking his parents left and right in his 20s, in his 30s, Dad, I need money. Mom, I need money. And they were like, no, because we know what you're going to use the money for. You're going to use the money for drugs. Rob Reiner even made a documentary of his son's life and dedicated a lot of that documentary and the money from the documentary to kids that are suffering with drug addiction and so forth. And Rob Reiner publicly talked about it on NBC and ABC News about dealing with his son with a drug addiction problem. I mean, you can see that Rob really loved his son, and Rob would have done anything to help his son and keep his son safe. But what did his son do in return? He thought it'd be a cool idea to kill his father. As you know, in the state of California, they really don't have any gun rights. I mean, Gavin Newsom has been totally adamant about gun reform and gun control and remove your guns from your home. So what did Nick use instead? He used knives. He used knives to stab his father first, slit his father's throat, and then killed his mom right afterwards. We don't know if there was a struggle before. I read that there wasn't a struggle. That Nick was in the house with his parents. I don't even know if they had an argument. I think Nick just went with a knife and just slashed his dad, slashed his mom. Nick was supposed to be presented to the court today. They said he couldn't do it because he's mentally unstable. Well, yeah, I would think that somebody's mentally unstable to kill their parents. Was Nick on drugs when he killed his parents? We don't know. Is Nick going to get off for being mentally insane? I hope not. Unfortunately, the state of California doesn't have the death penalty. But there's no excuse for what Nick did. And we mourn the loss of Rob Reiner and his wife. They didn't deserve to die that way. But people are upset about the comments that President Trump made after Rob Reiner's death. Let me remind the people in my audience that Rob Reiner had been attacking Trump since 2016. Rob Reiner actually was tied to Russiagate, and he founded the committee to investigate Russia with John Brennan and James Clapper serving on the advisory board. I mean, Rob Reiner had a lot of power, had a lot of money, knew a lot of people, and he's pushing this Russiagate, which was a cloud over President Trump's head for the first 2 years of his first term as president. Rob Reiner also said some very heinous things about President Trump throughout his entire presidency, calling him a liar, calling him an Islamophobe, a xenophobe, a homophobe, anti-Semitic, a Nazi, saying the world would be great if he was dead. I mean, he wrote some pretty heinous things on his X account about Donald Trump when he was president, and even currently as president. So people are upset that President Trump made a comment that Rob Reiner died of Trump derangement syndrome. It is a real thing, by the way. TDS does exist. RFK Jr. proved it too. But President Trump feels, why should I acknowledge a man or praise a man that blatantly attacked me, or blatantly tried to put me in jail, maybe was in charge of killing me, and also was in charge of putting this Russia hoax together because he was involved with the worst of the worst. And Trump said, I didn't like the guy. The guy was a cruel, mean guy, never got along with him, horrible person. I don't believe that Trump wishes that he was dead or Trump is happy that he's dead. And that's what a lot of people misinterpreted. But Trump has a right as the president of the United States to express how he feels. And if he wants to praise someone, he can praise someone. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But again, we don't speak for the president. The president has his own mind. He's an adult. He's not a child. And people call him a child for writing the things that he writes. But there's a reason why he writes the things that he writes. He wants people to understand that Rob Reiner wasn't the best. Yes, the way that he died was horrible. We mourn his death. We will memorialize him and his wife. But Trump is telling the people, this is not someone that was a good person. This was not a good hombre. But he didn't say justice is served. He didn't say karma. But my question to my audience is, what if the roles were reversed? What if President Trump was murdered? You think Rob Reiner would honor him? You think Rob Reiner would send his condolences? I think Rob Reiner would be happy, dance at his funeral, be tweeting how wonderful it is that President Trump is no longer with us. That's where President Trump is coming from. A lot of people say, especially in Congress, I wouldn't have written that, President Trump. I wouldn't have said it that way. You're the President of the United States. You should know better. But we know that President Trump is not your traditional president. We all voted for him because he wasn't traditional. We all voted for him because he was the change agent. We all voted for him because he spoke his mind. For those of you who have turned on him for anything that he's written and done, I question your loyalty to him. I question if you really liked him. I question if you ever really supported him. And President Trump doesn't mind if you disagree with him. But when you blatantly turn on him and call him this and call him that and say, I'm done with him, then you never really liked him. You never really supported him. Never really endorsed him. And there's a lot of people that take President Trump's endorsements and they turn on him. Again, what happened to Rob Reiner and his wife shouldn't happen to anybody. I feel bad for his daughter, Tracy, that had to come in and see the aftermath of it. I mourn more for the fact that he was Jewish and his wife was Jewish. Again, we had so much loss of life during Hanukkah. And like I said, I'll get into that later in in segment 3. It was too much loss of life on Hanukkah, especially the first night. And I wrote afterwards, I said, how much more life, how much more Jewish life can be taken? And people were like, well, Rob Reiner wasn't killed by a terrorist, he was killed by his son. I'm like, you're missing the point. It's still Jewish life that's taken on Hanukkah. Hanukkah is about dedication. It's about miracles. It was about freedom. It was about one man, Judah Maccabee, with a small army. Who fought against the Assyrians and won. And one piece of oil that was only supposed to light for one night ended up lighting all 8 nights. That's why it's called a miracle. The Jews for years have always fought for freedom. We continue to fight for freedom every single day. We're being targeted today. So many years later, 6,000 years later, we're still being targeted. I just say, when's it going to be enough? And I say to the Jewish people, haven't you hashtag had enough? This has to do with the leadership that you have in power. You keep voting these same Democrats in every single year that hate you, like Chris Van Hollen and Governor Wes Moore and Brandon Scott and even some Jewish politicians like Itzi Patoka and Jamie Raskin and Richard Blumenthal and Adam Schiff and well, Ralph Nader's leaving, but you keep voting for these same people every single year, every 2 years, and you wonder why you're not. You wonder why the Jewish people aren't safe, the Christian community isn't safe. You wonder why your cities and your districts and your states are not safe. It's very disgusting. It's very disgusting that we're in 2025 and we have to worry about this. That me as a Jewish person have to worry about going to a Hanukkah event that's outside, wondering if there's going to be enough security or not. It's very sad. It's very sad and it's heartbreaking. And I hope that we all have or continue to have a wonderful Hanukkah and that everybody is safe. And President Trump has said, don't stop what you're doing. Continue your activities. Because when you stop celebrating your religion, the enemy wins. And remember, the enemy has no religion. The enemy is okay with taking religion away from you. That's what they're known for. That's what they do. But please, guys, please, don't forget to light your menorahs. Don't forget to go to candle lightings in your area. Celebrate with your friends. Celebrate with your family. That's what Hanukkah is all about. Well, before my guest comes on, don't forget that we have our affiliate sponsor, rncstore.com/ALL. Let's put that up right now. There he is, Richardson Nutritional Center. Please, guys, it is the holiday. There are discounts galore, but you got to use the discount code ALL to get a discount. You get 10% off if you use the discount code ALL. That stands for Alexandra Levine Live. But please, guys, Richardson Nutritional Center is awesome. He really helps to prevent cancer, your immune system, and also just helps you with immunity in everyday life. I've been taking it. I've been losing weight from it. It's an awesome, awesome supplement, and you guys have to get involved. So please, guys, go to rncstore.com/ALL, if I can get it out. rncstore.com/ALL. Use the discount code ALL. You get 10% off. And of course, the more you spend, the more you get off. So spend $200, spend $300, get 10% off plus. It's a really great way to fit into your New Year's dress. I know a lot of New Year's resolutions, people want to lose weight. and this will help you lose weight. So please, guys, again, go to rncstore.com/ALL. Coming up after the break, we have a repeated guest, my friend Philip Hamilton, who is running again for Virginia State Senate District 11, and he will be with us right after the break. Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did. Well, hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome back. This is Alexandra Levine with Alexandra Levine Live. Again, we have a special guest. We've had him on our show. He's been on the Pulse. My good friend, Philip Hamilton, who's running for Virginia State Senate District 11. Let's bring him on. Oh, and you're sideways. There we go. Yay! Oh, no, you were...
All right, there you go.
All right.
The world's flipped right back on the right side, you know?
Exactly. Well, thanks for coming on again, Phil. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And yeah, always a pleasure to be on your show, especially during the holiday season. You know, I hope your guests enjoying their time with their family. And of course, the news never stops. The world keeps on going, and there's a lot to unpack and talk about. But I think, you know, one of the things that we could discuss is, you know, what happened in Virginia. I mean, gosh, you know, in 2025, I mean, the Republicans really got pummeled. And there's a lot of factors that are, you know, coming into play regarding this. You know, we had Winsome Sears on top of the ticket. She's currently lieutenant governor until she's out of office January of next year. We had John Reed, you know, a friend of mine who ran for lieutenant governor, who was the host of the John Reed Show. And he's actually launching a new podcast in January of next year. Okay. And Jason Mieres. You know, he was running for re-election. He had considered running for governor, but after Youngkin endorsed Winsome Sears and Mieres for their seats, you know, Winsome for governor and Mieres for re-election for attorney general, he just decided to stick with it. And you know, it was really tough because we lost not only the top of the ticket, we also lost 13 House of Delegate seats, which is a really crushing blow because now the Democrats have a supermajority in the Virginia House of Delegates. And they only have a 1-seat majority in the Senate. So thankfully, they don't have a supermajority in the state Senate. And, you know, we got to fight back for these seats. You know, there's my friend John Thomas. He's actually running for state Senate in District 15 to replace Ghazala Hashmid, who's going to be the first ever Muslim statewide candidate to represent the state of Virginia. Now, she was elected to be the lieutenant governor. I presume she's probably not going to be taking her oath on the Bible.
Probably not.
Yeah, most likely not. And but this is a really critical Senate seat. It's in the Richmond Chesterfield area. The special election is actually going to be in January 6, 2026. So I've been encouraging folks, you know, if you live in Virginia, it doesn't matter if you live in the district or not. You got to donate to johnthomasforva.com, support his race. And even if you don't live in the Commonwealth of Virginia, it's imperative that we flip this seat and reduce the Democratic majority. Because if we flip the seat, then, you know, the Lieutenant Governor Ghazala Hashmi is going to have to come in as the president of the Senate and break the tie. So let's make it tougher for the Democrats to pass gun control laws, to pass, you know, more laws that restrict, you know, our constitutional rights, free speech, There's a future pandemic response that the Democrats have been pushing for the past couple of years to waste millions of dollars on planning for a future pandemic, which may never even occur. I mean, it's just a total waste of taxpayer dollars. And the gun control bills are coming. And, we had a Second Amendment rally, which is spearheaded by the Virginia Citizens Defense League back when Northam took office a few years ago. And I imagine on January 19th, which is going to be lobby day, that we're going to have tens of thousands of gun owners who are going to come out and lobby for their 2A rights, because we got to show up in force, and we got to file lawsuits in Virginia and seek help from the Trump administration too, because if they go against Trump's executive orders, we got to get the Justice Department to come in and straighten Virginia out. So there's a lot of work to do in the Commonwealth of Virginia, but we're not giving up. We're going to keep on fighting.
Well, I have a question. Are people like you a little concerned because, as you said, you're getting a Democrat governor in there, a Democrat lieutenant governor, Democrat attorney general, or do you think that it will fire up Republicans, in the midterms next year to reverse, what happened in 2025? One of the biggest issues is that there's been very low Republican turnout, especially for the midterms, especially for off elections. And a lot of people are like disenfranchised, and these are Republicans that have always voted. These are like hardcore Trump voters that just haven't really been coming out for the midterms. So what is your strategy to have more people come out in the midterms in Virginia? And I would say just beyond, because the midterms is very, very important. We cannot have the House of Representatives slip Democrat. We cannot have Hakeem Jeffries as the Speaker of the House. That would destroy everything. So what is your strategy to prevent something like that from happening?
Well, I like to explain more of the 2025 election before we get into the strategy part. We with Winsome Sears on top of the ticket, we had a lieutenant governor who unfortunately made the statement in 2022 that we need to move on from Donald Trump. And there were folks in Southwest Virginia and in other parts of the state who did not forget those statements. And, they just, instead of getting out and getting in the polls, encouraging their friends and neighbors to vote, their fellow members at church, they sat at home. And that was over 400,000 Republicans who did not vote. And Governor Youngkin picked up those 400,000 Republicans in 2021 when Winsome Sears lost them. And I think a lot of the MAGA base in Virginia was not happy with it. And also, Winsome Sears should have endorsed Donald Trump after he was nearly assassinated in Butler, Pennsylvania last year. She didn't. She waited till a week before Election Day. So she basically waited until the political winds had shifted and, the tide was turning towards Donald Trump and against Kamala Harris. And that's not what a leader should do. A leader needs to take the forefront and say, Donald Trump is the guy that we need to get behind. But she didn't do it. And there's a lot of folks, I would say, in Southwest Virginia who just didn't trust her. And, and that's a big reason why we lost, because the top of the ticket was not a true MAGA supporter. I mean, she's come around. She supported Trump's policies, but it's really too little, too late. Now, we have to elect a new Republican Party of Virginia chairman. We have 3 candidates currently. My friend Cameron Hamilton is the most qualified. I'm hoping that he wins the election, which should be in January 10th. Now, there is going to be no convention for the Republican Party of Virginia chair because Rich Anderson, who originally was elected to a 4-year term, he resigned because he became a Trump appointee under the Air Force. So State Central Committee for, which are Republican representatives that are elected within their districts, voted to have Senator Mark Peake as the new chair. Now, Mark Peake has served as 8 months, but after this devastating loss, he's just really taken the fall for this and has decided to resign as of New Year's Eve of this year. So on January 10th, we're going to have an election, but because it's a vacancy, a State Central Committee is going to be voting again. So, the regular Virginia voters are not going to be able to have a voice in this. It's going to be the state central committee members who will vote. So I hope that they choose Cameron Hamilton, because he has a reform plan in place. He's already sent 6 emails to state central committee with some of the highlights of what he's proposing. He was the interim chief of FEMA. He's also the vice president of Feds for Freedom, which is a medical freedom group, an issue I strongly support. He has experience managing large organizations. He's a military veteran, and I am just really hoping that he does win the seat, because we need inspiration from the top. He's not retired. He's in his 40s. He's a younger guy, and I think for Republicans to win again in Virginia, we got to bring in the youth vote. We got to get Gen Z in, all these Turning Point kids. I've been very supportive of the Western Albemarle High School Turning Point chapter, and Noah Coffin's the chair. He met Charlie Kirk on, at AM Fest last year before he was assassinated. And, we got to inspire the youth. But I think younger folks need to be in leadership positions. And even my friend Patty Lyman, she's a boomer. And she was at the Republican chairman debate early this week in Waynesboro. And she said, even though I'm a boomer, I want younger folks to fill in the leadership roles. So I am 100% with her on that. So we need to find ways to get the youth involved, put them in, not just in volunteer positions, we got to put them in leadership positions. And when those leaders come on board, they're going to bring forth more leaders with them, and we got to get these kids involved. That means reaching out, not just the Turning Point, but Students for Life, for America, Young Americans for Freedom. They have a chapter here at UVA, and they have other chapters all across the Commonwealth of Virginia. There's various other conservative groups where we can recruit conservatives to volunteer and to work with the Republican Party, because we got to fight to keep our congressional seats in Virginia. We have 5 Republicans currently. The Democrats in Virginia are pushing to have a redistricting amendment. So that's one of 4 constitutional amendments that's been proposed. And the governor has no say. Even if Spanberger wanted to veto any of these constitutional amendments, she can't. This has to go strictly through the General Assembly. 3 of them, I believe, are going to go through in April. One of them, which was regarding the restoration of felon rights, is going to go through November of 2026. But this gerrymandering amendment is really concerning to me, because what they did is that they called a special session, 2 months ago. And so they passed it, and they said, okay, we're going to get rid of this 2020 redistricting commission, which was a bipartisan commission to draw the boundaries. What the Democrats want to do, if they pass this again, which I'm sure they will, during the General Assembly session, is going to go through, be put in the ballots April 2026. And if it passes, they're going to redraw the maps so that way Virginia becomes a 10-1 state. What does that mean? 10 Democrats are going to represent the House of Representatives, and we're only going to have one, I'll say it again, one member of Congress affiliated with the Republican Party from Southwest Virginia. And who would that be? That'd be Morgan Griffith. It is a power grab. And now the good news is during the Virginia Republican chairman debate, we actually had Bruce Scholzman from the Founding Foundation. He's worked as a consultant for Red Fox Strategies and some other organizations before being on the Family Foundation. But he said that the Trump team's actually getting involved in the redistricting fight. So we're treating like a campaign. So we got Trump people coming into Virginia, and they're getting volunteers activated to campaign, with literature, to go door to door, make phone calls, etc. To fight against this constitutional amendment, because if we lose it, gosh, that is a lot of congressional seats, and it could tilt the scales of power. And I'm concerned. In Indiana, they were going to push through, and they didn't. So if we have
the rhinos there,
that's right. So if we have these red states that cower, these Democrats are not going to cower. They're going to push this through. and we got to counter it at all costs. So
I agree.
So in Virginia, on April 2026, we got to get Republicans to the poll and treat it like a presidential race, because we can't afford to lose all these congressional seats.
Exactly. And you're right. I mean, President Trump and Susan Wiles have said they're going to campaign like President Trump is on the ticket. So they're going to pump a lot of money into the midterms. They're going to pump a lot of money into seats that they feel they can flip, and also congressional seats as well that they feel they can flip, and also keeping the incumbents there too. And that's what's really, really important. So my advice to my audience and to others is, just because President Trump's name isn't at the top of the ticket, think that he is, because this is very crucial. You have to vote for the right person for the House of Representatives, and also politics is local. We see when you vote, when you don't pay attention to the local races, you get a Mondami in there, you get Democrats, you get a seat that was Republican in Miami-Dade for 30 years just flipped Democrat. It's a real problem. That's why people need to start paying attention. People need to go to the polls. People need to do what you do, Phil. And we really need to start with the grassroots. A lot of people don't understand that grassroots is extremely important. So I know, Phil, you're very involved. I mean, you're all over the place. Serious candidates like Phil and others, that's what you have to do to really make a name for yourself. And people that just feel they're going to buy their seat, or they're just going to, just cruise on in or cruise on by, it's not going to happen this year. It's just not happening. And people are kind of turned off when you spend $1 million on a seat. They're just really turned off. So it's really important to get with the people. It's really important to go to events. It's really important to do grassroots. And it's important to get out there and to vote. We have to exercise our rights to vote. Again, Republicans cannot be complicit here. It's like, we win, the presidency, we get the first 2 years, we win the House, we win the Senate, and then all of a sudden it flips because we're all complicit. And then all of a sudden these hardcore red seats are flipping to D. It's really disgusting. I can't stand it. So Phil, we just have a couple minutes left. Tell us what, any events that you're doing coming up. Tell us how we can reach out to you, how we can donate on your website.
Sure. Well, one update I wanted to provide is that I was expecting Governor-elect Spanberger to nominate Creek Deeds, who's currently in the Senate. He's been in the General Assembly for over 30 years. He's actually the second most senior Democrat in the Virginia Senate, which consists of 40 senators, to be selected to be the next Secretary of Health and Human Services. However, last week, Spanberger decided to pick someone else for that seat. So unless Deeds is selected for another cabinet seat, which I think is getting less likely by the day, there won't be a special election in January 2026. But that's fine. I've already launched my website on Thanksgiving Day. You can go to hamiltonforvasent.com. You can donate. I have my events listed up on there. And, we're just going to keep on fundraising to take down the second most senior Democrat in 2027. Because we got to take back not just the House of Delegates, but the Virginia Senate to counter Abigail Spanberger's radical agenda, which is going to involve blockading ICE. She doesn't believe in safe communities. She believes that we should have these illegal immigrants who are, human traffickers, child rapists, and murderers, that we shouldn't be kicking them out of the country. And it's very concerning we have a governor like that. But thankfully, we have federalism, and Tom Homan is going to call her out on her BS, and he's going to be sending a lot of raids to Virginia under her regime. So the Trump administration is going to be doing a lot of work in Virginia while Spanberger's in office. And, but for my race, it consists of Albemarle County, Nelson County, Louisa County, the western part, and all of Amherst County, which is a very solidly Republican area. So I need folks to donate. I need folks to volunteer. I have a advisory committee, which has been helping me, draft issues, find, talking points to discuss. So we're doing it a little bit differently than we did in 2023. And, thankfully, I have name ID because I've run before. Every other Republican who ran against Creek Deeds, after they lost the first time, they just gave up. They said, oh, well, I didn't win, so I'm not going to try again. I'm the first Republican to give it another shot after losing the time. So, persistence certainly shows that I have leadership qualities and that I will keep on going, and I will do things much wiser the second time around.
Well, that's awesome. Good luck to you. I mean, as I said, I can only say wonderful things about you because you are a fighter and you're always out there. And I know that you care about the people in your district. And I know you care about the state of Virginia, and we appreciate you.
Amen. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Before we go on the break, I just want to bring up our second affiliate sponsor, Folium PX. There we go. Folium PX, toxic heavy metals, full body detox, free radicals. Remember, we talked about losing weight right in between Christmas and New Year's. This is the best way to detox all of that ham, that turkey, all the potato latkes from Hanukkah, because those are very fattening and they're fried, and the sour cream and the sufganiot, which in Hebrew means the donuts. So if you're concerned about losing weight, go to foliumpx.com, get the toxic heavy metals, get the full body detox. I've taken it. It makes you feel so good. It makes your body feel so good. It again boosts your immune system, reduces stress, reduces any anxiety you have, reduces depression, also helps you sleep. There's valerian root, which is like a natural Valium, which you can take if you can't fall asleep. And it also has some very nice antioxidants in there. So please, guys, go to foliumpx.com, and we will be right back after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. Thank you, guys. I just want to say thank you to the people that have been commenting throughout the show. My friend Donald Willinger, Jorge Finkelman, also Vigilante, aka Adam Reuter, and many others. I know there's a lot of people that watch my show that do not comment. It's okay to comment. It's fine. But I know some people, they just want to kind of, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And I respect that too. And again, thank you to my wonderful guest, Philip Hamilton. And he will definitely be on the show again and again. So segment 3, again, this goes near and dear to my heart. There was a huge terrorist attack in Sydney, Australia, in Bondi Beach. The first day of Hanukkah was on the beach. There was 2,000 people there. This was an outdoor event. Why the hell was 2 vigilantes allowed to go on top of the roof of a building with AR-15s, which are illegal in Australia? Australia has very, very, very strong gun laws. They don't really want anybody to have a gun. But these guys obtained these guns illegally, these AR-15s, these semi-automatic guns, and started shooting and shooting and shooting to the point where they killed 12 innocent people and injured 49 others. There are still many people in the hospital today. They killed Holocaust survivors. They killed someone as young as the age of 10 years old. This is disgusting. And these were Pakistanis. These were illegals that came into Australia because what did the Prime Minister of Australia say? He recognized Palestine as a state. As we know, there is no such thing as Palestine. There's no such thing. Oh, I'm sorry. My producer corrected me for the record. They were bolt action rifles. I'm sorry, not AR-15s, bolt action rifles. But still, they're not supposed to have them. They're not supposed to have them in the country of Australia. Not at all. They're not supposed to have them. It is illegal. But again, you have illegal Pakistanis, illegal terrorists that are entering our country, that are entering foreign countries and getting guns illegally and killing innocent people. Those people were there. It was a father and son duo. They were purposefully there to kill Jews that day. They knew it was Hanukkah. They had it planned out. But where was the police in Australia and Sydney? Where was security? Why didn't they make sure that every single area of that beach was secure? That was a total F-up of law enforcement in Sydney and a total F-up from the Prime Minister. But again, this is a guy that calls for Palestine to be a state and says we need more gun reform. Are you kidding me? It's not the guns, it's the people behind the guns. And just a month earlier, there's a huge march of pro-Hamas people, Palestinians, illegal refugees, walking up and down the bridge in Australia. There's videos on this. As the Prime Minister said, we recognize Palestine as a state. It's really sad. It's really sad that this is happening. Now we have a brave hero who actually was able to stop one of the gunmen from really doing a lot of shooting. He saw this gunman. He obtained his gun. He'd never held a gun in his life, and he pointed the gun back at the vigilante. That guy's in the hospital today. He is a hero. Older gentleman, too. I would say middle-aged. But let's put up the first slide of someone who died. This woman, Marika Bokangi. Marika Bokangi, she was 82 years old, has been identified as one of the victims murdered in the massacre at the Hanukkah event at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. May her memory forever be a blessing. Let's put up the next slide. Alec Kleitman. Alec Kleitman was a Holocaust survivor, has been identified as one of the victims murdered in the massacre at a Hanukkah event at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. May his memory forever be a blessing. Let's put up the next slide. This young man, Dan Alkayam, a young Jewish Frenchman who's participating in Hanukkah celebrations on Bondi Beach, has been identified as one of the victims murdered in the anti-Semitic shooting during the Hanukkah massacre. He was a young guy in his 20s. Remember, he had a 10-year-old, Holocaust survivors, young men. This is not how Hanukkah is supposed to be. Not at all. But I ask my viewers and people out there not to be afraid. Don't live in fear. I'm fearless. I would go to an event outside the next day. Because again, that's what these terrorists want you to do. They want you to live in fear, not practice your religion. But I do implore every Jew, every Christian, any person of faith to obtain a firearm, to have knives on you, mace, something on you as protection. Because sometimes police are not there when you need them. Sometimes it takes too long. Sometimes you're confronting that evil person in front of you and you need to know how to protect yourself. Don't go to any events without someone who carries a gun. If you're a man who has a woman and vice versa, if you're a woman who has a husband or fiance, make sure they're carrying. I get so nervous when my friends go to all these outdoor events. I as you know, I participate in outdoor events. I have outdoor events all the time. I work with elected officials. You don't think there's, what is it? What's that expression? Warrants, not warrants on their head, but you don't think people want them dead? Of course. We're all public figures on this network. We have to protect ourselves. That's why I don't divulge a lot of my personal life. No one will ever know about my personal life because I keep it private. I have to, for safety and security reasons. Any important event I go to, I don't reveal it. I always keep it private. But guys, it's very important that we keep our wits about us, but that we don't live in fear. And with this last slide, what did President Trump write? Let's put it up. He said, Trump to Jewish Americans after deadly terror attack, quote, be proud of who you are. That's my biggest fear, is that Jewish people will stop practicing their religion. They'll stop wearing their kippahs. They'll stop wearing their Jewish stars. They'll take the mezuzahs off their doorposts and not practice. You see me in that dress on the side? That was a custom-made dress for me. I have worn that dress in Montgomery County, Maryland. I've worn that dress in D.C. I am proud to say that I'm Jewish, that I support Israel. I have no problem wearing that dress. I'll be wearing that dress to CPAC in May in Dallas. I'll be wearing that dress again in Ohio. I'll be wearing that dress anywhere I can and everywhere I can, because I have no fear. I'm not going to let these a-holes ruin my Hanukkah, my Passover, my Rosh Hashanah, my holidays, because they do it all the time. God forbid if we ruin their Ramadan. Oh my God, there'd be hell to pay. But they continuously target us, especially after October 7th, all of our holidays. We can't have one holiday in peace. But I implore my viewers, my friends that celebrate Hanukkah, to not stop celebrating, to do your lightings in your homes, to go outside to a Hanukkah lighting if you can. Do not live in fear and do not be afraid. Just have protection on you. Don't be naive either. Keep your wits about you. But I also implore these organizations, these federations that have events, to have proper security, to have 24/7 security, to have as much security as they can surrounding the premises. The reason that this happened on Bondi Beach is there was not enough security, and the police were far away from the day in question. Yeah, Don Willender he asked a good question. Why is Australia allowing any radicals into their country? Because there's a lot of anti-Semitism going on in Australia. And it's so sad because it never used to be that way. There's a lot of Jews that live in Australia, in Sydney, in Melbourne, in Perth. When I lived in Israel, I hung out with all the Australian Jews. I always wanted to go to Australia. To me, Australia was a safe place for the Jews. My father used to say, if Jews had to flee America, where would we go? We used to say Australia or Israel. Now Australia's out of the picture. Now we're thinking Israel or Budapest, Hungary. In Hungary, they love the Jews. They praise them. It's really sad. Where can we as Jews live where we will be safe? Because it's not safe in America for us anymore. No, people say, don't go to Israel. Oh my God. But we have the protection of the Israeli Defense Force and the Mossad. Hamas is pretty much destroyed. Hezbollah is pretty much destroyed. The caliphates of ISIS, they don't F with Israel. But it's just a small country. Teaches us in the Torah that we as Jews must live amongst the nations. We shouldn't counter in one area, because that's where somebody can just blow us all up. That's why we have to be scattered. But if we're scattered in places that wish ill upon us, that doesn't help us either. But I ask my viewers not to be afraid. I ask my viewers to go on with your life. Live your life to the fullest. Get married, have children. Enjoy life. Enjoy your holidays. Don't let these heinous attacks affect you in a way where you feel you cannot celebrate. Be proud of being Jewish. Be proud of being Christian, etc. Wear your Jewish star. Wear your kippah. Keep the mezuzah on the doorpost. Celebrate Christmas. Celebrate New Year's. And be happy and merry. Now, one person that continues to fight for the people of Baltimore County is my good friend, Tim Fazenbaker. He was actually at a Baltimore County Council meeting Monday night where he testified against a Jewish guy, Itzi Patoka, who wants to run for Baltimore County Executive. Itzi Patoka is trying to pass 2 bills that actually is for illegal immigration, illegal aliens in Baltimore County, saying that he welcomes them with love, saying that they're being heard or they're not getting as much rights as legal citizens. He's putting illegal citizens first instead of the legal citizens of Baltimore County. And there's a lot of Jews in Itzi Patoka's district, and they're in fear of their lives. His constituents are not happy with him. And Tim gave a compelling testimony saying, you know, Itzy, your family, like your parents were Holocaust survivors. How can you allow illegal aliens, illegal criminals into Baltimore County? How can you allow them to stay? The people of Baltimore County are in fear of their lives. They really are. And the majority of the people in Baltimore County, they support ICE. The Itzy Patoka doesn't support ICE. He compares them to modern day Gestapo. I'm baffled by this. I don't know why Itzy is acting this way. Hashtag not my Jew. But Tim Fazenbaker did a great thing last night. You can watch his interview on WBAL. Everybody's been buzzing about it. WCBM talked about it. Other news outlets talked about it this morning, how great Tim did. And even a incumbent county councilman has said, Tim's going to win this. He's going to win his district. There's nobody that can beat him. But of course, the rhinos always try to push their morons in there to try to combat Tim. So you, the people of this district and Sparrows Point, Dundalk, and Edgemere, you're going to all do the right thing and you're going to vote for Tim. You're going to give him money. You're going to go to timfazenbaker.com. You're going to donate to him and you're going to put him in office. You guys have the power to put him in office. We believe in you. We believe in the people of this district. He's already an incumbent anyway in the Central Committee. This is his base. You guys are his base. Let's put him in the council. Let him really get stuff done for you guys. He'll have more power. He'll have more clout being on the council. So please, guys, I implore you, go to timfazenbaker.com. Put him in office. Put him as your next county councilman, and I'm telling you, your lives will be better. And then my friend, Kimberly Stansberry, she is really the only Republican running for county executive in Baltimore County. There's another person, but we don't say his name because he's kind of irrelevant. And there's a little drama going on between him and this other state senator. So we don't want to deal with drama. You in Baltimore County don't want to deal with drama. She's the only woman that's running. If she gets elected, she'll be the first woman elected as Baltimore County executive in the state of Maryland and in Baltimore County. This is history in the making. And she's a great woman. She knows everything about the position. She has legislation like no other. She's been getting donations. She's been going everywhere. She's been doing interviews. She is just so smart and so brilliant. And her husband served our nation. And we give thanks to him for what he has done. He's a great guy. Unfortunately, he died a few years ago. But all he wanted was for her to do what she loves and run for county executive and be the next county executive because she's passionate about it and she's passionate about the people. So please, guys, go to electkimstansberry.org. That's electkimstansberry.org and put her in office. And of course, we always support our friend on this show, Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner. Don't forget his GoFundMe. Unfortunately, Seth was in the hospital. He almost lost his foot a couple times and he needs to pay bills. He's got his son he supports. He's got others he's supporting now. He's working 2 jobs now to make ends meet. So we really need to donate and give back to our military. Seth served the Navy. We call him Popeye the Sailorman on our show. Please, guys, go to GoFundMe/Jonah/Eisenberg/health/crisis and give him a donation today. And don't forget, guys, we have the Conservative Corner with Seth Eisenberg every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. He will be on this Sunday, God willing. And we also have the Pulse every 8 to 9 p.m. on Wednesday, but we are taking a little bit of a break because it is Christmas and New Year's, and we are going to be focusing on next year. Next year, we're going to have live shows. We're going to have a lot more high-profile guests. We're going to be expanding our network with more people on our show, more podcasters on our show, and we just thank everybody. We haven't even been on this network for a year. And each week we are getting better and better and better. So you're going to see some of us, like myself and Damon Galdo, will be taking a little bit of a hiatus coming up Christmas and New Year's, and we will be back in full force live after New Year's. But Seth is always live usually. So check him out every Sunday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Damon Galdo, as you know, is with us from the Jersey Shore every 8 to 9 p.m. Monday night and 8 to 9 p.m. every Friday night. And of course, there's always me, Alexandra Levine, 8 to 9 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. This Thursday, we do have a special guest. It will be live. Kurt Velikant. I'm sure I butchered his last name, but he's running for governor of Maryland. A lot of my friends had a pleasure of meeting him at the MDGOP convention. They're like, Alexandra, you have to have this guy on. He's a farmer. He's awesome. So don't forget to check me out this Thursday night live with another candidate running for governor of Maryland. And again, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to our network at America's Pulse. We are on Rumble. We are on Truth Social. We are on Parler, X, YouTube, and Instagram. So we're on like 6 or 7 media outlets now. Please, guys, follow us, like, and subscribe at America's Pulse Network. And, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to me, Alexandra Levine. I'm on Facebook. I'm on X at Alexandra, Levi 20, at AR Levine 85, on Rumble, X, Parler, Truth Social, TikTok. I'm even on TikTok. We're on TikTok, too, at America's Pulse Network. We're on so many outlets now. But happy Hanukkah, everybody. And the reason you listen and the reason you watch is you are no idiot.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, Elena, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution, because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Thank you for watching this episode of Alexandra Levine Live. So please click subscribe and then share on your favorite social medias. This way you will get notified of each upcoming episode. We look forward to hearing from you on upcoming episodes.